Uh, good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Please do confirm. Please do confirm in the chat box, everybody. Okay. Wonderful. Just give me a second, guys. I'll be starting in a minute. Just give me a second. Okay. Great. So, hello everyone. I'm Abhilash Verma, Aptitude and Soft Skill Trainer by profession. And firstly, my sincere apologies that I'm late today. Okay, it's really raining cats and dogs in my part of Bengaluru. So people who are in Bangalore, they might be knowing. Okay, and once again, I'm really sorry for this. I've been trying to come to the class from past 30 minutes. I was stuck. Okay, yes, Manu, it's Bangalore South. So currently it's in Nagarbavi. It's raining very badly. I was unable to move forward, so that's why I was late, and that's what I have informed, Sandesh also. Okay. Mm. Yeah. So, firstly, my warm welcome to Study Online, everyone. Okay, and Sandesh, and I know you guys been attending classes of Sandesh, particularly Python programming, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, and we both were, both are in fact not were. Okay, we both are good friends and once colleagues as well. So usually whenever we do, we do a lot of combined sessions. So in many of the colleges across Karnataka. And coming back to me, I have an experience of close to decade, yeah, more than a decade, in fact, and I have trained in, more than 250 engineering colleges across India. In fact, apart from Northeast, I have trained in almost every single state of the country, and I teach on, for various topics like quantitative aptitude, reasoning, English, soft skills. Once I was a Python trainer as well. Once that was long ago. Mm. And I teach advanced mathematics for competitive exams, and I teach advanced mathematics for AI and ML as well. And this is the brief introduction of mine. And I will be handling a few of your aptitude classes. If not all, I'll be handling few people. In fact, many I can tell. Okay. And before I start the actual class, I would like to give you the brief introduction of this course, aptitude course, what all you will be taught and who all will be taking your classes. I'm not the only trainer whom you will be meeting. You'll be meeting other trainers as well. Okay. So, but this whole week, at least till Thursday, you have to bear with me. And Friday and Saturday, you will see some other trainer. Okay. Attendance link. You'll get it shortly, buddy. You'll get it shortly, Karthik. Yeah, you got it. You see, that's the J1 attendance link. So I will be introducing other trainers as well. So I will be taking most important topics for you guys. Okay. Uh, and I'll also tell you which all the topics I'm gonna handle and who all the trainers you're gonna meet and what all they're gonna do. Okay. Now, yes, Sandesh, just give me a second. I'm trying to search you in the list. Yeah. Yeah, it's done. Okay. Chalo. So coming back, let me share my screen with you. Okay. So firstly, what are the subjects we're going to teach you guys? We're going to teach aptitude or quantitative aptitude. okay, and logical reasoning, and general English. So the time allotted for these topics, here we will be teaching you 40 to 45 hours of classes on aptitude. Reasoning will be somewhere between 50 and 20 hours, and English will be 20 hours of classes. Okay, so these are the topics that we teach, uh, subjects that we're gonna learn in this course. Okay, now in that aptitude, let me talk about the aptitude. So aptitude will be the primary focus because this is where many of the students, fumble when it comes to the competitive exams, like your placement exams. So here we will be giving majority of the time, guys. We will discuss every single topic in detail, where we will teach you to the level of close to AIMCAT. I might not, tell you it will be up to the level of the AIMCAT, but it will be very close to the level of the AIMCAT. Okay, so now in this week I will be concentrating on percentages, profit and loss, and simple interest and compound interest. So these are the topics that I will be doing. Okay, so my name is Abhilash Verma, and you will meet other trainers as well. My colleagues Praveen Jadhav, Kanakraj, Vineet Man, okay, Yasin. You'll be seeing other trainers as well. And for uh, English will be mainly handled by Deepthi. Okay, so she will engage your classes on every Friday and Saturday. Every Friday and Saturday will be English classes, guys. Monday to Thursday will be aptitude and reasoning. Okay, so now let me start with percentages topic. Or before that, first let us understand why do we need percentage and what is the importance of this topic. How many marks do we get from this particular topic? Usually, guys, that will vary from company to company. Marks will vary from company to company, but usually it lies between somewhere 3 to 8 questions. You might be wondering, how do we get 3 to 8 questions from this topic? Let me explain that to you. So I can tell this is the most important topic for you among all the topics. Okay. So you will get direct questions, only one question from percentage, guys. Directly only one question from percentage. But when I see, here you can see one question, at max 2 questions. But if you see profit and loss, there will be 2 questions to 3 questions. And once again, simple interest and compound interest, it will be 1 question to 3 questions. And again, mixtures. Mixtures, you will see exactly 1 question. Okay, even for which you need some percentages. Apart from that, for data interpretation, also you need uh, this topic, DI, even for DI. So usually you'll get 1 or 2 questions. Sometimes you don't get this topic as well. So in all these topics, if you want to solve even without the knowledge of the percentages, we can't even attend these topics. Okay. So that's the reason why I told you this is one of the most important topic. And if there is any topic where you get highest number of questions, a direct questions means that will be number system. Kanakaraj will be handling. So number system is the subject where you get highest number of questions. Okay, so that's for another day. So for now, let us come back to percentage. Now let us understand what exactly percentage means. When I see per and cent here, we all know cent means 100 and per means for every. Per means for every. So what do you mean by percent for every 100? For every 100. Now, why do we need this? Let me explain with an example. Suppose if you there are two people, A and B. Okay, A scored 400 out of 500 marks, and B scored 410 out of 510 marks or 500 marks. Now you tell me, according to you, who performed better in the exam? A or B? A or B? B. Very straight answer. Yeah. When I compare these two people, it's B. Wonderful. Let me introduce another person, C. He scored 420 marks out of 510 marks. Now tell me, who performed better? B or C among these two? Everyone must participate. If you say B and if you say C, if you say same, okay, forget about it for now. I'll tell you later who performed well. But the point is not about who performed well here. The point is all about what happened here. When I asked between A and B, every one of you said B performed well. But when I asked between B and C, there is a confusion. Few say B, few say C, few say both gave same performance. Why is this confusion between B and C? That you have to tell. Reason. What is this? Why there is a confusion here between B and C? Can anybody tell me what's the reason behind it? Not audible? Shaheen, I think there must be a problem with your, I think you must use headphones or something like that because it's audible to everyone, buddy. Okay, good. So why is the confusion? This part is, when you look at this part, both have changed everything. Till now, there wasn't any issue between A and B because both of them written exam for same 500 marks. But when it comes to B and C, the total marks for B and C is different. That's the reason we got the confusion. So what are we doing here? We are comparing A and B. It was pretty easy. But comparing between B and C was slightly difficult because they both have not written for the same number of marks. That's the confusion. Now, if you calculate percentages, this will be 80%. Okay. And this will be, once again, 82.5%. Okay, 82.5%. Am I right? Once again. 82%, exactly 82%. I'm sorry. 82%. Now this one, this will be 82.3 or 4% you will get here. 82, it will range between 82.3 and 5, 3 and 4. So 82.4 or 82.35. Yeah. Now when you see, he's the best performer, second best, and the worst performer. Now what happened? When we calculated percentages, it was easy for us to tell who is better among all three. Now this is where percentage comes into picture. Here, as long as the denominator is same, means the comparison metric is same, we can easily tell the performance. But when the comparison metric changes something like this, what happened here? We cannot compare two entities. Now that's where a need for one common metric with which we can compare everything with has come into the picture. And we chose percentage to be that metric. In fact, 100 to be that metric. So this is where percentage came into the picture. Why do we need percentage? To comparison. Irrespective of what total marks you have written the exam for, when you convert it everything into 100, when you compare everything into 100, it will be easier for us to compare. Now, this is the reason why the concept of percentage is introduced. It could have been any number. It need not to be percentage. It need not to be percentage. It could have been any number. But we chose that number to be 100. That's all. Right? It could have been 50. It could have been 500. It could have been 1,000. It could have been any number. But we chose that number to be 100. So that's why the name percent. Cent means 100. Suresh, I think there is a problem with your network or your device, buddy. Sound is clear for everyone here. Now, let us look another point here. If you look at this one, imagine if you score 60 marks out of 80 marks. If somebody asks you, what is your percentage? Don't bother about the answer. I'm trying to tell you something else. What is the meaning of this question? What is the meaning of what is your percentage here? You scored 60 marks out of 80 marks. And somebody asked you, what is your percentage? My question is, what is the meaning of this question? What is your percentage? What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this question is, what is your percent? Means what is your marks per cent? Means per 100. You scored 60 out of 80. What is your marks per cent? Had you scored 60 marks out of 80 marks, how many marks you would have scored had the exam been conducted for 100? That is the meaning of what is your percent. So it means if exam has been conducted for 80, you could have scored 60. But had the exam been conducted for 100, how many marks you could have scored? When we equate both of them, we get something like this: 60 by 80 into 100 is equal to x. If you calculate this, you will get x is equal to 75. That is 75%. Now, if you look at this point, this is how you got your childhood formula. What is that? Obtained marks divided by total marks into 100. Percentage of your marks. How do you calculate? Obtained marks divided by total marks into 100. It is not defined, it is derived. This is how it is derived, people. Am I clear with the basic concept of percentage? Everyone? Okay? Wonderful. Now observe. Let us learn few tools in percentage. Okay? Firstly, how do we convert any number into percentage? Now, when you look at this one, 60 by 80 into 100, this is a number. 60 by 80 is a number. 60 by 80 is a number. To convert it into percentage, I multiplied with 100. 60 by 80 is a fraction. So any fraction is a number. To convert it into percentage, we'll multiply with 100. So this becomes 23s and 24s. 4 ones, 4 25s. 25 threes is 75. This is how we got the answer. Okay. So what happened here? There was a number which was 60 by 80. To convert it into percentage, I simply multiplied the number with 100. Now observe this. 75 is a percentage, which is nothing but 75 out of 100. Okay. To convert back into number, we'll write it as 75 by 100. That is 25 threes, 25 fours. We get 3 by 4. If you see, this is also 3 by 4. 60 by 80 is same as 3 by 4. So what is happening here? To convert a percentage into number again, to convert percentage into number, we divide with 100. Pretty simple rule. If you want to convert any number to percentage, multiply with 100. If you want to convert any percentage to number, divide with 100. Number to percentage, multiply with 100. Percentage to number, divide with 100. Okay, this is the very basic rule in the percentages. Right? Now let us see tools in percentage. What all the tools will get to? Tools in percentages. Tool number 1, that is fraction percentage relationship. Fraction percentage relationship. Let us see what exactly it is. Suppose if I have a fraction 1 by 1, now you get the ratio, but you get the ratio show. You will never get the exact number. To get the exact number, you should know the HCF of the numbers, of which you will understand that in the ratios. When we learn the concept of the ratios, you will understand. If you see here both the numbers between what is that, 3 and 4, here 60 and 80, here the HCF is 20, here the HCF is 25. Both are different. Okay, what you can get back is only the exact ratio, need not to be the original number always. Understood? You will understand more about this when we now try to understand the mechanism of ratios. Got it? Now, perfect. Now, 1 by 1 is a fraction. To convert it into percentage, we'll multiply with 100. That makes it 100%. If I take 1 by 2, when we multiply with 100, that becomes a 50%. Likewise, when I write 1 by 3, that will give us 1 by 3 into 100. So 100 by 3 is 33.33. We will get 33.33%. So 1 by 4, I can write into 100 when I write. That becomes a 25%. 1 by 5 into 100 if I do, that will become 20%. 1 by 6, okay, that will become 16.66%. Likewise, I can write all the values, but you need not to remember every single value. What are the values you need to remember? These are the basics. Till 1 by 6, everybody must know. How did we get that? When I write 1 by 6, that's a fraction. To convert it into percentage, I'll multiply with 100. So 1 by 6 into 100, 100 by 6 is 16.66%. Okay. Now observe, if I have 1 by 7, when I multiply with 100, that becomes a 14.28. Now when I take 1 by 11, that becomes a 9.09%. That becomes 1 by, and then if you go to 1 by 13, that will be 6.79%. If I write 1 by 17, it is 5.88%. If I write 1 by 19, 5.26%. If I write 1 by 23, that will be 4.34%. Observe. The first set which I wrote on the left, they are the basic percentages everybody must remember. That's mandatory. Till 1 by 6. Now 1 by 7 to 1 by 23, these are advanced level. If you can remember these things, your life becomes much easier when we are doing calculations. Okay, understand why? If you know these are 12 values, you know all the values till 1 by 25. Now, how is that possible? Let me show that to you guys. Okay, observe. Suppose if I want to calculate 1 by 8. I can write 1 by 8 as 1 by 4 into 2. But we already know what is 1 by 4. I have written it here. 1 by 4 is a 25%. So this entire 1 by 4 becomes a 25%. Denominator is a 2. 25 by 2 will be 12.5%. We can do this provided we know that 1 by 4 value. Only then. If not, we cannot. Suppose if you want 1 by 9 value, I can write it as 1 by 3 into 3. I know what is 1 by 3. We have already discussed that 1 by 3 is 33.33. So I can write that 1 by 3 as 33.33%, and in the denominator we have another 3. Now that becomes what? 11.11%. Likewise, if you want to 1 by 10, you can directly write it. Even if you do, look, 1 by 9 into 100, even if you do 1 by 9 into 100, you'll get 11.11 only. If you do 1 by 8 into 100, that also will give you 12.5. But these are the shortcuts. 1 by 10 into 100. So 0 get cancelled, again 10% you will get it. Suppose if you want 1 by 12, you can do 1 by 12 into 100, but the division will be slightly time consuming. So that's why we can do it in this way. I can write it as 1 by 6 into 2. I know what is 1 by 6 value, that is 16.66. When I divide that with the 2 in the denominator, that will give me 8.33%. Likewise, if I want 1 by 24, 1 by 24, I can write it as 1 by 12 into 2. I just now calculated 1 by 12. 1 by 12 is 8.33%. When I divide it by 2, that will become 4.16%. Likewise, you can write all the values, people, till 1 by 25. If you want, I can write them here. If you see, just give me a second. So if you see why I have written these numbers particularly, because these are the prime numbers. 7 is a prime number, you can't split. 11 is a prime number, you can't split. 13 is a prime number, you can't split. 17 is a prime number. 19 is a prime number. 23 is a prime number. You can't split these things. You have to remember these things. You don't have an option here. Okay. But other numbers you can split, like what I showed here. Other numbers you can split and calculate. Okay. So I can write all the values till, if you can remember till 1 by 25, that's great. That will improve your speed like anything. Okay. Suppose if I want 1 by 8, 1 by 8 is 12.5%. If I want to 1 by 9, we calculated that 11.11%. 1 by 10 is at 10%. 1 by 11, I have given 9.09. 1 by 12 is 8.33%. 1 by 13, I have already given 7.69. 1 by 14 is half of 1 by 7. 1 by 7 is 14.28. Half of that is 7.14. 1 by 15, I can write it as 1 by 5 into 3. If you calculate that, you will get 6.66%. Okay, 1 by 16 will be 6.25%. 1 by 17, I have already given. 18 will be 5.55%. 1 by 19, I have already given. 1 by 20 is 5%. 1 by 21 is 4.76%. 1 by 22 is 4.54. I have already given 1 by 23. That is 4.34. 1 by 24 is 4.16%. Finally, 1 by 25 is 4%. So I'm calling them these as a tools in the percentage. Now, what will tools do? It will make you work faster. Okay, you need not to remember all till 1 by 25 people, but till 1 by 6 is mandatory. You don't have an option there. Right? Just, to be on the brighter side, I give all the values till 1 by 25 is. Okay, so this is the first tool, that is fraction percentage relationship. If we can further dwell into this, if I have something like this 2 by 5, I can write it as a 2 into 1 by 5. I already know 1 by 5 is a 20%. 2 into 20% will become 40%. If I want a 3 by 5, I can write it as 3 into 1 by 5. We already know 1 by 5 is at 20%. 20 into 3, 60%. Okay, suppose if I have 3 by 4, I can write it as 3 into 1 by 4. We know 1 by 4 is 25%. When we multiply with 3 is 75%. This gonna reduce your time like anything if you know these things well in advance. So this is a fraction percentage relationship. Am I clear so far? Am I clear so far, everybody? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Next, next tool. Tool number two. Tool number two. How to calculate 10%, 5%, and 1% of any number. Observe. If you want to calculate 10% of some number, 1% of one number, 5% of one number, how do we do that? Observe here carefully. I will write some numbers randomly here. I have 7,000. I have 8,400. I have 7,600. I have 820. I have 620. I have 42. And I have 5. For these numbers, let us calculate. Yeah. So, guys, do not copy anything. This notes will be provided to you. Okay, I will provide the notes. Do not worry about it. Don't waste your time in copying everything, but whichever I tell you, those things you have to write. Okay, now observe here. If you want to calculate 10% of any number, कासिम मीरा वाली मस्त लग रहे हो यार. Now शाहिन थोड़ा उठ के तो बैठ जा माँ. हाँ, क्लास है ये. आराम से सीरीज देख रहे हो बैठ के. Okay, now next. See if you see how do we calculate this? So if you want 10% of some number x, okay, 10% of some number x. So what do you mean by 10%? We know that 10% is nothing but 10 by 100 of what? X. 0, 0 cancel. What am I left with? X by 10. What do we mean by this? 10% of x is also same as x by 10. It means if you want 10% of any number, just divide that number with the 10. Look at this 7,000. If you want 10% of it, divide 7,000 with 10. That becomes 700. Now you tell me for 8,400, what is the 10%? 10% of 8,400? Anybody? 840. Okay, next one, 7,600. 7,600. Just divide that with the 10, that's all. 760, wonderful. 820. How about 820? 82. Okay, 620. 62. 42. 10% of 42. 4.2. 10% of 5. 5 by 10. 5 by 10. Nandita, how did you get 2.5, Ari? It is 0.5, right? 5 by 10 is 0.5. Sirisha, how did you get 0.2? 5 by 10. So put 1. Now you need not to be sorry. So you just have to shift decimal point by 1 digit to the left. That's all. 0.5. Okay, I hope you understood this part. Let us move on to the next one. Suppose if you want to calculate 1% of this number. How do we calculate 1% of any number? 1% is nothing but what? 1 by 100 of x, which is nothing but what? X by 100. So if you want 1% of any number, just divide that number with 100. Just divide that number with 100. That's all. 7,000. Quickly. 7,000. 1%. 70. 8,400. 8,400. 84. 7,600. 76. 820. 820 divided by 100 will make it 8.2. 620. Okay. 42. 42. Wonderful. 0.42. 5. 0.05. That's all. Now let us go to Ashok Kumar. It's not 0.005. You added one zero extra, but it is just 0.5. 0.05. Okay. Now, suppose if I want to calculate 5% of x, can anybody tell me what should I do? What should I do for 5%? Multiply with 5. Swagat, that is good. 1% into 5 will give you 5%. Divide with the 2 will give you, ARPU divide with the 2 will give you 50%, not 20%. Divide by 20. Divide by 20. Not 1 by 5, Sirisha. 5% means 5 by 100 of x. 5 into 1, 5 into 20. That will make it x by 20. This is one way. But much faster than that is, this is simply half of 10%, right? 10%, just by looking at the number, we can plug out the 10% quite easily. And take half of it. Look at this 7,000. 10% is 700. Half of it will be 350. That's all. 8,400. 10% is 840. Half of it is 420. 420, your favorite number. Next, 7,600. Come on. 7,600. 760 is 10%. Half of it. Half of 760. 380. Good. 820. 10% is 82. Half of it. Perfect. 41. 620. 10% is 620. 10% is 62. Half of it. 31. Wonderful. 42. 10% is 4.2. 5%. 2.1. Great. 5. 10% is 0.5. Half of it will be 0.25. That's all. Half of it will be 0.25. Okay. Now this is the basic. Now why do we need this? Let us understand that part as well. Why do we need this? Observe carefully. I want 20% of 1600. We can do it in multiple ways. Observe. 20% means a 20 by 100 of 1600. 0000 cancel. 16 into 20 is how much? 320. That should be my answer. 320. Right? Perfect. Or another way of solving the same question. You should not be doing all this crap here. You should do all these things mentally. How? When you say 20%, which is nothing but double the 10%, that's a double. I can, think it as 10% into 2 or double that value. We already know by looking at the number 1600, we can say it's a 10% is 160. If I multiply with the 2, that will become 320. That should be our answer. Let us see another number. If I want 30% of 4,800. Now, how do we pursue this? 30% means we will look at it as 10% into 3. Right? 30% is 10% into 3. Can anyone tell me what is the 10% of 4,800? 10% of 4,800 quickly? 480. Wonderful. 480. We multiply with the 3. So that will be 1440. When I multiply 480 with the 3, that will give me 1440. Okay. Next. Suppose if I want 60% of, okay, 2,400. So I can write this as, I can write it as 10% into 6. What is 10% of 2,400? That is 240 into 6. Again, 240 into 6 will be 1440 only. Let us take some other number. Suppose I want 8% of 80% of 7,200. I can write it as a 10% into 8. Can anybody tell me what is 10% of 7,200? 720 into 8. When I do this, that will be 5,600, 5,760 you will get. Okay, 5,760. If I multiply that 720 with 8, that should be my answer. Okay, let us take another example. If I want, let's say some 40% of 3,240. How do I write this? 10% into 4. What is 10% of this value? 324. 324 into 4 will be 1280, 1296 should be your answer if you multiply the 324 with the 4. Okay. So this is where these things come into picture. Okay. Let us understand further part. Let us understand further part. Imagine if it is something like this. Did I do any mistake? No, perfect. 1296 here. Suppose if I have something like this, 45% off 1200. You have to think it in a smart way. We can write it as 50% minus 5%. 50% of 1200 will be 600. 5% will be 60. When I subtract this, that answer will be 540. Okay. So 5%, how do we get? 10% is 120. Half of it is 60. That is 5%. That is one way. Another way. You have already calculated 50%, that is 600. If you divide 50% with that 10, if you divide 50% with the 10, that will become 5%. That will become 5%. Right? So 600 minus 60. So 50% is 600. If you divide it with 10, that will become 5%, which is 60. That's how we got 540. Okay, let us take some other number. If I have 52% of 380, how do I do this? I can write it in two ways. One is 50% plus 2%. We can write it as 50% plus 2%. Ashok, observe what happened. 45% can be written as 50% minus 5%. What is 50% of 1200? Half of it, that is 600. I want 5% now. 5%, how can I calculate? One is half of 10%. 10% of 1200 is 120. What is half of it? 60. Okay. Swagat, we have to subtract, buddy. We have to subtract. Observe, we want 45%, right? 50% minus 5%. Got it? So we can do this. 540. Now look at this one. 50% plus 2%. Now how do you write 50%? Half of 380. So that will be 180. No, 190. 190. Okay. Now how do you calculate 2%? 2% is 1% into 2. 2% is 1% into 2. Now what is 1% of 380? 3.8. Yeah. 1% of 380. How do we calculate 1%? I have shown this here. If you want 1%, divide it with 100. 3.8. When I multiply with the 2, that becomes how much? 7.6. So 7.6. When I add both of them, 190, 197.6. 197.6. Now, for you at this level, you can do this part. But I wouldn't be doing all this crap. I want to answer this in within a second. How do I do if I do this? The same number, 52% of 380. If I were to solve this, I will do it in this way. 3.8 into 52. When I do this, this is 16, 1, 6, 46, 47, 4 year, 15, 19, done. Piece of cake. I got the answer within 5 seconds if you observe carefully. I got the answer within 5 seconds. What did I do here? What did I do here? Let me explain that to you. When I want 52%, I can write it as 1% into 52. Am I clear with that point? 1% into 52 will become 52%. I hope you understand that. Everyone? Now, I know 1% of it is 3.8. Okay, I just have to multiply that with. And that's what I did. That's what I did. Because I wouldn't be wasting my time in writing all this crap here. 50% plus 2%, again 2%, 1% into 2. That's waste of time. I just take 1%. As long as it is something like this where I can calculate the things mentally, I will do it. But if I have to touch the pen, this is the method I use. I'll show you another example. Suppose if I want 64% of 640, what do? I will take 1% into 64. What is 1% of 60? 1% of 640? 1% of 640. Yes, Manu. If you have 1%, you can calculate everything. Guys, 1% of 640. To calculate 1%, you have to divide with that number. 6.4 it will be. It will be 6.4, not 0.64. Okay? 6.4. I just have to multiply with 64. But luckily, I know how to calculate 64 square. That is 96 and 1 carry and then 39 plus 140. 4096. After a decimal point, I have one digit. 4096 is my answer. And so I know how to calculate 64 square without using a pen. So that's a tool which I know I'm using it here. Don't worry, you're going to learn all those things, okay? You're going to learn all those things. Don't worry about it. Not now in the speed maths class. Probably I might ask Kanakraj to do that session, speed maths for you. Okay, he will teach you all these tricks. How am I multiplying? How am I squaring? Everything you will learn. Don't worry about it. Okay, but just for now, you remember. You try to remember that he's doing this and this to get the answer. We'll take up another example. If I want 84% of 540, what do? We can't do it as 80% plus 4% because 80% is again 10% into 8. 4% is 1% into 4. There's too much of calculation. So simply one step, 1% into 84. Okay, we got few answers. Let us check. What is 1%? No use of calculators. No use of calculators. 5.4. I'll multiply with 84. When I do this, that will be 16, 1, 20, 32, 42, 43 year, 4 year, 44. Did I do mistake or you guys did mistake? Check it out. 16, 1, 20 plus 32. 20 plus 30. Oh, sorry, this is 5. This is 5. So this will be 4, 5. Computer mistake. Maaf kar do. And after this, we'll get this 4, 5, 3, 2. Everybody, did you understand this? So far, whatever did you understand this? If you don't know this multiplication, do not bother about it. You're going to learn all those things. We're going to teach you all those things. We will give you a few of the finest tricks and calculations, people, that which you wouldn't have seen anywhere. Yeah, this is the very basic multiplication method. You might have seen anywhere. Okay, you might have seen in many places. But we will give you in the speed maths tricks, the tricks which you haven't seen anywhere. Simple. Venki. I hope I'm reading your name correct. Venki, I'm taking 1%. 84% means 1% into 84. 1% of 540 is 5.4. I'm multiplying with 84. How am I multiplying? Do not bother about it for now. You're gonna learn it soon. Okay, we're gonna teach it soon to you. Don't worry about it for now. Just remember this, I'm multiplying 5.4 and 84. When I multiply that, I will get 553.6. Am I clear with that? Venki, did you understand? Venki, did you understand that? 84% means 1% into 84. That's all. 1% of 540 is 5.4. Buddy, can I get any response? Can I get any response from you? Did you understand or no? Okay, I'm not receiving any response. Can we continue further? Did you understand so far everything, whatever I did? Great, 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 great. Array, I'm not asking you guys. Yeah, finally I got it. Winkies. Okay. Array, you need not to, just if you want, I can turn on the voice chat as well. If you want, you can. 52% you did. Ankit, तिवारी कहां से हो? बिहार या यूपी? यूपी. गुड. सी 52% कैलकुलेट करना है आपको. क्या करना है यहाँ पे? 52% का मतलब होगा 1% इंटू 52. ये ठीक है, इतना तो पता है ना. 52% क्या होगा? 1% इंटू 52. सही है. अब 380 में से 1% निकालो. आप कितना होगा? अभी 1% के लिए क्या करना है? उसको 100 से डिवाइड करना है. डिवाइड कर दो 380 को 100 से. क्या मिलेगा आपको? 3.8 मिलेगा. अब ये हो गया 1%. अब इसको 52 से मल्टीप्लाई करना है. ओके, ये भी एक तरीका है मल्टीप्लाई करने का. वो भी हम लोग पढ़ाने वाले हैं. ओके, यू विल लर्न दोस थिंग्स इन फ्यूचर क्लासेस. अभी तो मैं स्पीड मैथ्स नहीं पढ़ा रहा हूं, इसीलिए ये सब नहीं सिखा रहा हूं. ओके, जब इन दोनों को मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे आपको मिल जाएगा 1976. Sirisha, if you want 1% of any number, look at this. Where is our 1% here? What you have to do? If you want 1% of any number, just divide that number with 100. Because 1% is 1 by 100. Divide it with 100. If you see 380, if you want 1%, divide 380 with 100. That will become 3.8. That's it. If you want 1% of 640, divide 640 with 100. That becomes a 6.4. Understood, Sirisha? Great. So this is our tool number 2. Okay. Now get into one important concept, that is percentage change. Percentage change. Percentage change. What do you mean by percentage change? It is simply change in value divided by original value. See, I'm not teaching you any problems today. I'm just prepping you with the concepts what you need to learn so that we can make your calculations easier. Got it? So in tomorrow's session, we will be solving the problems, guys. So I'm just getting you ready for the problems here. So this will become into 100. So this is how we calculate percentage change. Percentage change is very, very, very important to people. You're going to live with this for the rest of the course. Entire profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest, data interpretation, everything is just extension of percentage change bits. Now, what exactly is percentage change? Let us understand. Let us say I have a number 80. That 80 is increased to 100 now. What is the percentage change? How do we do? We check the change in value. We check the change in value. What is change in value here? Number changed from 80 to 100. What is the change in value? Others, respond. Manoj is the only person who responded. Okay, quickly. Okay, change in value is at 20. So look at the formula. Change in value by original value. So change in value is at 20 divided by original value is 80. We have to multiply with 100. Calculate and tell me the answer. Calculate and tell me the answer. 25. 20 ones, 24s. 4 ones, 24, 25s. This is 25%. But you need not to do all this crap. You can just take this as 20 by 80 and you say goodbye to that 100. That is not required every time. Why? 20 by 80. 20 by 80 is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is nothing but 25%. I have explained it here. See, 1 by 4. That's why I told you this is important. If you know its value well in advance, what is 1 by 4? We can directly write the answer as 25% without multiplying with 100 and cancelling again and again. Okay, observe this value. Suppose if my number has changed from, okay, this is what 25% increase. My number changed from 120 to 140. What is change in value this time? Change in value this time 20. Out of original value 120. I will ignore that multiplying with 100. You have to multiply with 100 only if you don't know. You have to multiply with that 100 when you don't know the fraction percentage relationship. Sai, wonderful. 1 by 6. 1 by 6, I have given its value as 16.66%. If you know 1 by 6, if you know 1 by 6, 16.66%, you can directly answer. If you don't know that, you'll multiply that with 100. 1 by 6 into 100, you'll divide 100 with 6 again. Right? Let us see one more example in this. Suppose if I have a number, so what is this again? Increase. I have, my number is, let's say 170 is changed from 170 to 1. Let me take, we'll take 160. Chalega. What is change in the value? 10. Change in value is at 10 out of 170. 0, 0 cancel. If you know 1 by 17 value, directly you can answer 5.88%. Decrease. Decrease. But if you don't know 1 by 17 value, what happens? Observe here. 1 by 10 by 170 into 100. Okay, 0, 0 cancel. You have to divide 100 with 17. But my question is, do we know tables of 17? I know. Do you know tables of 17? No. By the time you cancel that number 100 with the 17 and get the answer 5.88, half of your class will get married and make children also. That's the reason why I told fraction percentage relationship, the tools. Okay, eventually you will understand why I'm making you learn those things, how it's going to save you time in the exam. Imagine if you're saving even a 5 seconds, that is an advantage for you over the other person sitting beside you. Because these are competitive exams. Everything is all about time. It's not just about whether you will get the answer or not. If I give you 10 questions, and if I give you some ample amount of time, every single one of you can get the answer for every single question by hook or crook. But the question is, will you get ample time? No. What if I say you have to answer all those 10 questions in 8 minutes? Trust me, you can't even solve 3 or 4 questions if you go with the traditional and conventional methods. But only when you know all these tricks of calculations, you will get edge over the other person, guys. Now that's why I taught you in the beginning fraction percent. Trust me, you're gonna thank me for that fraction percentage relationship in the future classes. When you see simple interest, compound interest, profit and loss, and data interpretation, this topic is gonna play a major role in the other topics. So for now, we just have to remember this part. Eventually, when you keep on looking at the same things again and again and again and again and again, you will eventually remember all these things. So this is the very basic part of the percentage. Okay, I could only teach only 1 hour for today, but tomorrow I will start at sharp 7 o'clock. People, even if you're stuck in the rain, I will do the class from there itself. Do not worry about it. Okay, today we did not anticipate this much of rain, but tomorrow we will be starting problems. How do you? I will show you how do you know deal with the problems on percentages and what kind of the problems you get in percentages. Those things we will start from tomorrow's class. And few more things. When you're attending my class, there are 2 rules which I want you to follow, people, strictly. Okay, how will you share all the notes? Kavyashri, do not worry about it. I will find one or the other method to share you the notes. Okay, somehow you will get it. Today itself you will get it. Don't worry about it. And you will get to know how do you get it as well. Yep. Okay, let me have a word with Sandesh and then I'll come back to you on that. Okay, so I will be in the Slack group as well. Still, I'm not added into the Slack group. I will soon join your Slack as well. Okay. Uh, thank you, Aishwarya. It's my pleasure. So once I join the Slack people, I'll be posting all the materials in the Slack itself. Okay. And listen, I was telling something. What is it? When you attend my classes, people, firstly, please avoid using this word, sir. My name is Abhilash Verma. You can call me Abhilash or you can call me Verma. Got it? Stop using this word, sir, because you're not going to use it once you enter the corporate worlds. You have to inculcate this habit of not using sir and addressing everybody with a name from right now. पूर्वी कुछ भी बुला दो यार सिर्फ सर छोड़ के oh sorry Reddy garu okay you can call me anything except the sir and second thing okay if you have any doubts you can ask me in your native tongue. Okay, you need not to like do not hesitate to ask the doubts. No, only because we have to speak in English. No, there is no such rule, people. Okay, I'm fluent with uh, Kannada, Hindi, Telugu, and English. Okay, you don't even get to know about it, so I can explain in all those 4 languages. So you're free to speak in those languages. Got it? If you don't understand anything, if I get to know you are from which part, I will switch to that language and I will explain in that language. Got it? Am I clear with everything? Is everything okay between us now? Sandy, I'm concluding. I'm concluding now. వస్తుంది రోహన్ ఏమీ ప్రాబ్లం లేదు శుభ్రంగా మేనేజ్ చేస్తాం इमरान हाँ हो जाएगा भाई हो जाएगा I will upload that. Thank you, Mahim. Thank you so much. ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ್ ಬರುತ್ರಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಭಾಷೆ, ಚಿಂತೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ट्विंकल मुश्किल होगा मैडम, थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा, अभी सीखना पड़ेगा फिर से. स्लाइड का स्क्रीनशॉट नहीं यार अंकित, पूरा पीडीएफ दे दूंगा ना, क्यों टेंशन ले रहे हो, पूरा पीडीएफ दे दूंगा. संदेश, I'm about to wind it up now. Are you there?
Yeah, Abhilash. Yeah, I'm there. Just a minute, I'm gonna
ಸಂದೇಶ್
handle that. Let me just turn on the front cam. Sorry, I didn't get you.
ನಾವಿಬ್ರು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಆಕ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ನನಗೆ.
ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ.
एवरीडे मुसामत, हर दिन हो जाएगा. एप्टीट्यूड को मार के
Just a minute, let me just turn on my front cam. I don't know whether it's visible or not.
Yes, Andy, over to you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay. You can continue. Like once you're done, like I'm gonna like only for 5 minutes I'm gonna handle. That's it.
Okay. I think can I log out?
Can you just
Want me to-
make me as host so that.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot that.
But I think recording is there in your like, is it a cloud recording or like a local recording?
Now there is recording it. I think in my laptop. Where do you want me to upload it? And you just give me a call and do that. I'll do
Maybe
that once
you
I
can
reach
call
home.
it a technical discussion. Let it be there, so that later I'll be calling you. Okay. So that I'm gonna handle the class for 5 minutes, so that I just want to interact with them.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
just
perfect. You can make me as host and you can exit the session.
Yeah. I'm checking
Yeah,
your
perfect.
on the top.
I think if you're there, also no issues.
Okay. Well, okay, guys. Thank you so much. Tomorrow I'll see you guys at
Sure.
shop 7 p.m. in the evening. Okay. I'll assure you guys I won't be late, and you too don't be late. Just please be on the time, people. On shop 7 p.m. so that you do not miss anything. Because if you miss something in the beginning, it will be very difficult for you to understand the further concept. Okay. Sure. We can get lost for the day. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Good night.
Yeah, guys. Let me just handle the session for another 5 minutes, not more than that. May I know how many of them are from 7th semester? Could you please respond yes in the chat box?